I'm turning my dorm room schedule into a spreadsheet so people can sign up at school and stop calling me.
Yeah, about that.
Number 10. Their house isn't on blocks. It might sound a bit odd to say that it makes no sense that the Cooper family's house on young Sheldon isn't on blocks, but according to older Sheldon, it should be.
Avoiding my mother in our own house was proving to be difficult.
You see, in a season 1 Big Bang episode, Sheldon mentions to Penny that he was sick while in Germany one time, and his mother had to leave him there to get back home because...
My mom had to fly back to Texas to help my dad because the house had slipped off the cinder blocks again.
Again?
Well, maybe they'll move into a house on cinder blocks in a future season, but as of season 6, the house young Sheldon lives in is big and definitely sitting on a proper foundation.
Are you two trying to burn down the house?
Number 9. Soft Kitty isn't just for when you're sick. As Big Bang fans know, Sheldon Cooper has a lot of rules. Don't sit in his spot, don't touch his food, don't whistle, and don't sing Soft Kitty to someone unless they're sick.
Sing Soft Kitty to me.
Soft Kitty is for when you're sick. You're not sick.
And for the most part, the prequel series lives up to the latter, with Sheldon's mother singing Soft Kitty to her sick son.
Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur.
But then in season 4, not only is the Soft Kitty rule broken, but it's also broken by Sheldon himself. A young Sheldon, in the midst of learning to ride a bike, calms his nerves at night by singing Soft Kitty to himself. Not to nitpick here, but determined and brave is not sick.
Happy kitty, sleepy kitty, purr, purr, purr.
Number 8. Age discrepancy. So we know that Shelley is 9 years old in 1989 in the first season of Young Sheldon. We also know that he starts college at age 11.
So he's really good to graduate?
He sure is.
However, in the 4th Big Bang episode when he's fired from the university, Sheldon mentions to Leonard that he spent the last 3.5 years working. Before that, he spent 4 years on his thesis, and prior to that, he was in college.
Before that, I was in college, and before that, I was in the 5th grade.
It doesn't take a genius to know that all this comes to 11.5 years, assuming that he was in college for 4 years, of course. Which means if he started college at 11, he should be 22 or 23 at that point. But in the first season of The Big Bang Theory, he's 27. So where did those extra years in between go?
Math, science, history, unraveling the mystery.
Number 7. Really young Sheldon didn't love comic books. It's a great moment in the spinoff series when a 9-year-old Sheldon, who previously had no interest in comic books, discovers the X-Men and changes his tune.
Young mutants with incredible powers who were feared and misunderstood by the entire world.
Hey, it's about me.
However, while young Sheldon fans surely enjoyed it, Big Bang fans were probably thinking about how it made no sense. You see, as we all learned on The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon Cooper was into comic books at a way younger age than 9. And we know this because he had an honorary Justice League of America card at 5 years old.
It's been in every wallet I've owned since I was 5. Why? It says keep this on your person at all times. It's right here under Batman's signature.
And then there was the time that his sister's friends lied and told him that Batman was coming to his 6th birthday party.
I waited by the door for hours. Closest thing to Batman I saw was when a robin flew into the window.
Seems the X-Men weren't Sheldon's first foray into comic books and superheroes. Number 6. Sheldon didn't enjoy making schedules. Schedules, contracts, road trip seating charts, Sheldon loves them all.
All right, we have 7 people and 2 cars. In the lead car, driven by Leonard, will be myself, Amy Farrah Fowler, and Penny. Yes!
Any excuse to create a schedule or draw up a contract, and he's happier than a pig in, well, you know what. But apparently that love for schedules came to Sheldon later in life. In Young Sheldon Season 5, Sheldon agrees to loan out his unused dorm room to other students for studying. At least that's what he thinks it's for.
You think there's any chance my girlfriend and I could use it sometime?
You two study together?
However, as more and more students want time in the room, Sheldon gets a little annoyed with all the scheduling involved. So much so that he decides to just put up a sign-up sheet. Doesn't sound like the Sheldon Big Bang fans know.
Shelley, you busy?
I'm turning my dorm room schedule into a spreadsheet so people can sign up at school and stop calling me.
Yeah, about that.
Number 5. Sheldon had already been in a room with Stephen Hawking. One of the few people that Sheldon ever considered an intellectual equal was Stephen Hawking. So when Howard started working with him, Sheldon was, of course, desperate to get an introduction.
Please, please, let me meet Hawking.
I told you no.
But I said I'm sorry.
No, you said, would it help if I said I'm sorry?
He begged his friend, even telling him about the time, as a 6-year-old, he dressed up as Hawking for Halloween.
No, I took my dad's desk chair, attached a speak and spell to it, and made my sister push me up and down the block to trick or treat.
Or about the time he went with his dad to Caltech to hear Hawking speak. No, wait, he didn't mention that one, did he?
Stephen Hawking is giving a lecture and I really need to go.
Can we talk about this when I'm out of the shower?
That's right, he never mentioned the fact that he had been in a room with Hawking years earlier. We'd say he probably just forgot, but we know Sheldon doesn't forget.
I don't make arithmetic mistakes.
Are you saying I do?
Oh, no, of course not. It's just, I was thinking, oh gosh golly, I made a boo-boo.
Looks like the young Sheldon writers did, though. Number 4. The Big Bang Theory never mentioned Dr. Sturgis. As we learned in the original series, some of the biggest influences in Sheldon's life were probably Stephen Hawking, Professor Proton, and his grandfather Pop Pop.
And you asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I told you my Pop Pop, because that was the year my grandfather died. I missed him, and I wanted him back.
But throughout the show's 12-year run, not once did Sheldon even mention Dr. Sturgis. Who is Dr. John Sturgis, you ask? Well, according to young Sheldon, he was a guest professor of physics at East Texas Tech, who became close to and a role model for a young Sheldon.
My sister likes to say that I'm an alien.
I've often been called that.
Sturgis also dated Sheldon's Meemaw.
Connie, I would like to see you again. Perhaps we could have dinner sometime.
Yes, we would love that.
And yet, older Sheldon seems to have completely forgotten about him and his influence on his younger years. Number 3. Sheldon and Missy shared a room. When Sheldon's twin sister Missy comes to visit on The Big Bang Theory, she tells Leonard and Howard a story about the time he converted her Easy Bake Oven into a furnace. Why, you ask? Well, as she and Sheldon confirmed, it was an attempt to keep her out of his room.
I needed a place to fire ceramic semiconductor substrates for homemade integrated circuits.
He was trying to build some sort of armed robot to keep me out of his room.
And if you only started watching young Sheldon in season 5, then maybe that makes sense. But the issue comes with the fact that for the first 4 seasons of the show, Sheldon and Missy shared a room.
You know you want privacy too. I suppose it would be nice to have all my trains and science equipment in here.
So maybe the Easy Bake incident happened after Missy moved into her own space? Nope. In her story, she quotes their ages at the time as being 8 years old. And they're already 9 when the series begins.
I had to go through the entire 2nd grade with crooked eyebrows my mom drew on.
Is that what that was? I just assumed that the 2nd grade curriculum had rendered you quizzical.
Number 2. His dad doesn't have alcohol use disorder. One of the most frustrating differences between The Big Bang Theory and its prequel series is the portrayal of Sheldon's father, George Sr. For most of the Big Bang run, Sheldon's dad, who had passed away by then, was presented to us as having been an overweight, not too bright absentee father with alcohol use disorder.
He died when I was 14.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So was the man who owned the local liquor store.
However, that isn't at all who he is on young Sheldon. Sure, he enjoys his beer, but he definitely isn't the angry drunk described to us on the OG series.
My father was not one to spare the rod when my brother would sneak into his truck and drink his driving whiskey.
And as for being an absentee father, Sheldon's mom is definitely more involved in his life, but George Sr. does take an interest in him, and there are some sweet father-son moments between them as well.
Okay, Mr. Spock. Your first order is to return to your seat.
Aye, Captain.
Number 1. Sheldon had friends. Not only is it intimated many times throughout The Big Bang Theory, but Sheldon even comes right out and says it on at least one occasion. he didn't have any friends growing up.
You may find this hard to believe, but I didn't have any friends growing up.
No, I get that.
Now, the original series walks that bold statement back a little bit in the final season when we meet Tam and learn he and Shelley were besties as kids.
When I moved to California, what did you do? I stayed in Texas. Do you believe this guy?
However, according to young Sheldon, the young Cooper had multiple friends growing up besides Tam, from Dr. Sturgis to Paige to his college dorm neighbors and video game playmates.
You have video games?
A bunch. You play?
My Mima and I beat Quest of Adira.
Sure, he wasn't the most popular kid in town, but young Sheldon wasn't as friendless as older Sheldon claimed.